So today we are going to be learning about test taking skills. How many of you like to take a test? Nobody likes to take a test. Guys, tell me why you don't like to take a test. Give me a couple reasons. Raise your hands for me.
And I'm going to say the sentence.
Why? Yeah, so it's like a lot of pressure. You kind of get a little scared. So today I'm going to give you guys a couple reasons and a couple ways on how to take your test, so they're a little easier and you can do better on them and you don't have to be so nervous, because I know you guys have some big tests coming up. Okay, so here we go. The first strategy you want to use is read your questions and your answers first. So when you see all these words, you get a little nervous, but instead of reading this first, go to your questions. Guys, flip over the questions for me. Who wants to read the first question? Okay, go ahead. Okay, so that's our first question. We're not going to read all the questions because we don't have enough time. I'm going to read the third one. What does Tony run into on the street as he walks across the street? A, a dog. B, a cat. C, a kind man. D, a gorilla. So normally, if we had enough time, we'd be reading all these questions. But since we don't, we're just going to read those two. Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to use context clues. Does anybody know what context clues are?
This is a capital C, and then this is a lowercase.
Something in the passage close. Context clues are something that you would find maybe in a title, a picture, or maybe in the author. Sometimes the context clues can even be in the other questions in your little test. So, how about we look at this story without even reading about it? What do you guys think the story is about?
It's capital S.
A gorilla, right? Oh, Carter, you raised your hand. Thank you. That's okay. So it's about a gorilla. So let's look at our questions. And we're going to look at number 3. What does Tony run into on the street as he waits to cross the street? What do you think that answer would be?
Yeah, I told you the dog ran fast.
A car? Well, what's our title? What's our picture? A gorilla. Is that one of our options? Yes. Now, we're not going to circle it, but that can be a guess. That can be something we keep in our head, that maybe this is what this story is about. And another thing we're going to look at is number 4. Look at question number 4. How does Tony feel when he comes face to face with the gorilla? No. Now, what does question 3 say?
What does Tony run into on the street?
Exactly. So you think that could be a clue? The other question says, how does he feel when he sees the gorilla? That's pretty much an answer. Okay, so that's context clues. Sometimes they can be in the title, or it can be in a picture. You just kind of got to look without reading, and it might give you an idea what the story is about.
We're going to work there together.
Now, our next one is underline keywords. Now, we're going to read the first paragraph, and we're going to see if we can find keywords. Now, keywords can be who, what, when, where, why, just the main subject. So let's look at the first paragraph. Why don't you read the first sentence for us?
Tony was walking down the street.
Okay. Carter, why don't you read for us?
Alright, so
He was trying to get to the store before it closed, and he was not thinking about anything except that.
Okay, so who's the story about?
Tony.
Okay, so let's underline Tony, because that's who. Now, what is he doing?
good job.
He's walking down the street, so underline that.
Go ahead and write.
And where is he going?
Groceries.
The store. He's going to the store. He had his grocery shopping list in hand and was rushing through the crosswalks, trying to avoid getting hit by cars. So why is he going to the store? He's got his grocery shopping list, so underline that. So we've got our who, we've got what he's doing, where he's going, and why, because he's got to go grocery shopping list. So that's kind of what you're looking for when you go and read through a story. You want to underline the main key points like who, what, when, where, why. Let's go to the first question again. So how does Tony feel in the beginning of the story? Now, reading that first paragraph, how do you think he's feeling? Anybody else have a different answer? Everybody think it's, give me a thumbs up if you think it's B. B. You're right. Now how do you guys know that? How do you know he's busy and anxious? Tell me. He was rushing to the crosswalk. Good job. And you found your key underlined word. But the next one would be process of elimination. Now, going to, we'll look at question number 1 again. When it asks us how he's feeling, after reading that first paragraph, did it say anything about being happy and excited? No. So it couldn't have been that. Process of elimination is trying to get rid of the answers that just don't make sense in the story. So it didn't say anything about him being happy. What about D, sad and depressed? Did it say anything? No, it didn't say anything about being sad or depressed. So we just want to get rid of those questions or those answers that just don't make sense. Okay, plug it in. Does anybody know what I mean when I say plug it in? What do you think? See if it fits, or take that answer and kind of plug it in and see if it made sense in that sentence. And normally you can only do that with one word. Normally I wouldn't use this one unless it's mostly just one basic word. And sometimes, and this is my least favorite one, but sometimes it's just necessary. Reread. Sometimes when we start a test, we're so nervous that we rush through our reading and we don't pay attention to what the story says. We don't underline, we don't take our time to read it. So when we get to our questions, we don't know anything that the story tells us. So sometimes you just need to reread what it's telling you, okay? Alright, so I've got another one for you guys to try. And this one you're going to do on your own. And what I want you to do is I want you to read. What are you going to do first before you even start reading? You're going to read your questions first. Okay. So guys, go ahead and start. And when you answer your questions, you are going to put next to your question which strategy you used to find that question. So either you underline or you reread. And I'll lay these out so you guys can see them. All right, go ahead and get started.
Good job. So for each of those common nouns, capitalized. Can you tell me why they get capitalized? Right. Can you tell me why they get a capital? Yeah. Yes. Specific. Yes. Yeah, that's a tricky word. Yes, they are to be capitalized. So you can go ahead and you can just rewrite the word California using capitals.
Okay guys, we're gonna stop and we're gonna review. What did you guys think of that story? Sound like something you've done before? Yeah.
You don't?
Sound like something
Good.
one of your
There's
parents said
nothing else
before?
wrong. And can
My
someone tell
parents
me?
have said that many
Real
times.
quick,
Maybe later,
Can someone
maybe
tell
on
me
your
why
birthday. A lot of times it didn't happen. Okay,
Is capitalized.
so let's look at the first question. What does Jimmy
It's the name of a
want? You
company.
can answer that. So raise their hand.
So because you say it, I just want like Kleenex.
What's your name again?
Go ahead. Go ahead and rewrite it.
What is it? Charles. What's the answer? B. B, a wonkadoodle. And how did you figure that one out? Underlining? Did anybody else have another way? Carter, how did
Context
you? Context clues. Guys, the very title. The title right there, it said the wonkadoodle. And I mean, that's a clue. We don't want to go off of that, but that's a
And
really
if you
good
look at the next question.
Oh yeah, let's look at the next question. What'd you do? It's right, it's in the very first sentence, guys. It was such an easy question. Okay, number 2. How does the father feel about the wonkadoodle? And right there it says the wonkadoodle. So guys, you just kind of gotta look for those clues. All right, can you tell me how he feels about that?
He feels unimpressed.
He's unimpressed. Okay, can you tell me how you got that answer?
Well,
Show me where you read it. So right there? Right there. So normally we would underline it. How did you guys figure it out? Tell me how. You reread it and that's how you found it? Okay. You underlined it. So you saw clearly unimpressed and that helped you find out what the answer was. Right there. You're correct. Good job. Okay, number 3. Which of these is not one of the father's arguments against getting the toy? What's the answer? Charles. True. D is the correct answer. Everybody get D? All right. How did you get D, Charles? Process of elimination. That's a good one. He read through all of the questions and he said that one didn't make any sense because that wasn't in the story. Did anybody else do anything different? Everybody did that? Okay. Number 4. Is Jimmy going to get a wonkadoodle today? Okay. Okay. Charles? No. How do you know that? Yeah, because it didn't say anything about his birthday, right? True. But he didn't say yes or no or maybe. Or he didn't say yes maybe. Okay, so number 5. Why is Jimmy okay with waiting for his birthday to get one? Why don't you tell me this one?
Yes, specific.
True, did everybody else get A?
Awesome. Yes.
And how did you get that one?
All right. Can anyone tell me what's this one? A dog. And is it a capital or a lowercase form?
Okay, so that's how you found it. Now make sure, when you read them, make sure you underline, guys. When you underline, that way you know you have the right answer. There's no doubt in your mind whatsoever. Okay, guys, you did so good. Can I get those paper tags from you? And I'm going to give you guys these bookmarks. Now these bookmarks, they don't give you all of the steps, but they give you 5 of them. And it will help you to remember what your steps are. Guys, if you follow these steps, these will help you be able to take these tests easier, and you're more likely to find the right answers. But you just got to take your time, and when you take a test, don't be stressed about it. Just do your best. That's the most important thing, Charles. It is, and it can be a little scary, but guys, it's important that you relax, and tests don't say whether you're good at something or not. It just shows us how you guys are progressing. It's not about what